I'm ready. What up? Let's get to it. So news is rumors, speculations. Hopefully these are true. These are definitely true, right? But the Minnesota Vikings have their eyes on or zoning in on Derrick Harmon from the University of Oregon, defensive tackle Derrick Harmon from the University of Oregon, which I love it, homie. I love it. You hear me? Period. They're building for now and their future, huh? You hear me? Now and their future. Oregon, that school name rings a bell because didn't they draft Taki Tamani or find a potential gem as far as UDFA goes in Taki Tamani? I think Taki Tamani has a lot of upside, a lot of potential, definitely a big body. He just needs to learn how to move his body, maneuver in the right positions, and just understand technique and get in that weight room and get more solid and get more solid. You hear me? But he is potentially a big body. But the Vikings, we see the moves they made in free agency, but now they're going to continue to build the trenches, and that's very important, very key, dog. Build your trenches for years to come. You know, peep the blueprint. Check out the blueprint. You think Quasi hasn't seen and peeped the blueprint, huh? Come on, dog. Believe that, bro. He's been around Cleveland Brown, the Cleveland Browns organization, the 49ers organization, et cetera, et cetera. He understands what it takes to build great teams and where it starts. I don't care what nobody talking about. Yeah, you need a good quarterback, a great quarterback. But at the end of the day, if you can't protect your quarterback, what does it matter, huh? What the hell does it matter, baby? Prime example, Super Bowl Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, Super Bowl Patrick Mahomes. No protection. That's what happens. I don't care who's back there. So the trenches is where it starts. Both sides of the ball. Can you stop the run? Can you stop the run? I'm gonna get into the article soon, but can you stop that run? I love this from the Vikings. I love this from the Vikings. Now, whether they trade up, stay in the same position in the draft, like I say, if they go all interior D line, I would not be mad. I would not care. I would not have one problem, one complaint with it. Or whether they go defensive lineman, offensive lineman, spend all their draft capital on trench play. Now, of course, we would like to see them potentially grab a cornerback or receiver, even though they just got more, so they ain't got to reach for that for real. And you still got Naylor, but cornerback, maybe a linebacker. But they have options, dog. So many options. Maybe a tight end. They can go either way. But Derrick Harmon, if he is who the Vikings think he is, I'm sure they're, zoning in on him for a reason. They see something in him. They think something is there, right? They're willing to spend a draft pick on him. No, and rumors are he's good. He's really good. I didn't see Oregon play at all for real, but I know they had a solid team. Went undefeated for the whole year until they met Ohio State. You hear me? Period. But I know they had a solid trenches up front. They were pretty dominant, but you got to question the level of competition at the end of the day. We've seen the strength of schedule for Oregon. You see Oregon's strength of schedule this year coming up. Easy work. They should go undefeated again. Period, dog. And that's been Oregon's whole thing. All right. They make it far, win games, but when it comes down to it, the big game, the real game, when it matters, they lose, bro. They lose. That's what happened this year. But at the end of the day, Derrick Harmon looks like a player, seems like a player, you know. But the Vikings have their eye on him for a reason. So obviously they see something there. Let's just get into the article and see what he's really about, man. See what this dude is really about, huh? But this is great. This is great news. The Vikings on the tackle. This is what we want. This is what we want. Build your trenches. All right. That's what a game's won. Report. Oregon defensive tackle Derrick Harmon is on priority list for Vikings. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Switch this here. Minnesota could continue to beef up its defensive line in this year's NFL draft. I love it, man. I love it for real. Facts. You hear me? No cap. As we inch closer to this year's NFL draft, the rumors are only getting stronger, and the Vikings seem to have interest in Oregon defensive tackle Derrick Harmon. The Minnesota Star Tribune's Ben Gosling is hearing that Harmon is a prospect on the Vikings priority list. On the latest episode of the Access Vikings podcast, Gosling was joined by Andrew Kramer and Emily Liker to discuss Minnesota's offseason potential draft plans, and Harmon's name was a point of discussion. I heard that again this week Gosling said when discussing Harmon as a player on Minnesota's priorities list. Listed at 6'5", 311 pounds. I love the size. I love the size. That's what it's about, dog. 6'5", 300 plus. Come on, bro. Monster. Potential monster there. Harmon among the best defensive tackle prospects in this year's draft. He's ranked 28th overall and the fourth best at his position, according to ESPN's projections. The Vikings added veterans Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave in free agency, but it sounds like they could look at continuing to add to the position through the drafts. That's what it's about. You can never, ever, ever have enough depth, correct? Hey, dog, hell to the yeah. Let's get it, bro. I wouldn't be surprised to see them add another defensive tackle. There's a lot of depth. There's a lot of variety in this group, but you have Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen, both in their 30s, Gosling said. Jonathan Allen coming off the pec injury. Hargrave, I think, with a tricep, and Allen also had a left knee in the past that I would keep an eye on as well. So you're not talking about these guys being 5-year solutions. Facts. Damn near, definitely not no 5-year solutions. 1, 2, 3-year max solutions. And the Vikings are doing it right. You got studs now, still in their prime, 30, etc. Still got a lot to give. But when they're done, you got studs backing them up. Studs in the rotation, baby, period. Talent on top of talent. That's how you win Super Bowls. Yeah, that's how Super Bowl rings are won. Last season was Harmon's first and only with Oregon after 3 years at Michigan State. He recorded 40 goals, 11 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 4 passes defended, and 2 forced fumbles. Sounds like an athlete to me. But more impressive was his 55 quarterback pressures, which led the nation for interior defensive linemen in 2024. And guess what? That's what Brian Flores wants. That fits his scheme perfectly. A defensive tackle who can get to the quarterback, who's a great pass rusher. That's what Brian Flores is looking for. That's why they acquired the likes of Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave, correct? They want guys who can stop the run, but also get to the quarterback. Something the Vikings have been lacking for 2-3 years on the defensive side. He compiled 116 tackles, 8.5 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles throughout his college career, and he will turn 22 in October. The Vikings hold the 24th selection in this year's draft, and that is the range Harmon is currently projected to go. The recent success of the Eagles and 49ers has shown us that you can never have too much depth on the defensive line, and Harmon would add to a loaded group for Minnesota. Facts, correct, homie. Period. Let's get it, dog. Let's get it, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's what it's about right there, man. Building your trenches, building your depth up. You can never have enough. You can never have enough, baby. I don't care. Like I say, I stand on that 10 toes down. I don't care if Kwesi O'Connell spend their whole draft capital on interior. Getting the meats up front there, homie. Getting big bodies, juggernauts. And I think they already got some, got a couple. We can't forget about Levi Drake Rodriguez, like I mentioned before, Taki Tamani. I think they got the potential to be 2 dogs up front, 2 real thoroughbred dogs who gonna scratch every time, never fold, bro. Grind motor. So see, things like this get me excited. I get excited about the draft, excited about the upcoming moves that Kwesi will make. You know, this is makes it more evident that Kwesi knows what he's doing. Period. You know. He had some bumps along the way, learn some lessons. But right now, the team, the roster, he is building not only for now, but for the future. For the future, right? You know, be competitive, be a winning team, present and future, dog. That's greatness right there. That's what the Wilson brought him in for. Now it's finally coming into fruition for him. I mean, he's been around greatness all his career, damn near. You can question the Browns organization, huh? But the Browns organization for the past 4 or 5 years have had solid rosters, especially up front and in the interior. You know, he's been around the Niners, been around great coaches, dog. Seen the blueprint to do it, dog. You know, really got a chance to look and figure out the details, understand the secrets of the game, the business side as well. We know it's a business, big business the NFL is. Can't never forget that aspect of it, right? Believe that. But Kwesi, phenomenal, dog. Point blank, period, dog. Who expected this? Who saw this coming? Now if they can, like I say, now the next test is the draft. Can he pass the draft test finally? We're gonna see. Huh? Can every player that is drafted be a great player, elite player, starting with Derrick Harmon if they want him that bad? So it must be something there that Brian Flores has seen or somebody on the staff. We can't afford no more busts, no draft bust, dog. Can't have that. They got to know for sure, for certain, these players can play ball. Like I say, year 4, coming into year 4, they're getting better. The Vikings are on the right trajectory. I stand on that 10 toes down, huh? No cap, bro. This is what we have been waiting for, huh? Trenches. We've seen it for years. Now we're going to see how the Vikings fare, huh? Now it's really fair ball, baby. Because now the Vikings bringing it up front, physicality, real physicality, not some fluke every now and then, but week in, week out, punching teams in the mouth. Let's see how it goes, how the ball falls, how it bounces. That's my opinion on it. Fire them comments up. Feedback is much appreciated, dog. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell. Make sure you hit that bell, huh? How you feel about Derrick Harmon? The Vikings building them trenches. Big SKOL here. SKOL Vikes, win, lose, or draw. Yeah.